I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am!
Welcome everyone to a brief discussion Director's Cut, a new series where I take some of my older videos and recreate them with marginally better production, and a 15-minute time limit, so let's get started, we have no time to waste. The Machamp is here! Yeah, I stole that joke from my old video. Sue me. My divorce lawyer has advised me to stop saying that, but okay, what's up with Machamp? With RBY being re-tiered last year to only have one line for C and D rank, versus the previous year when we had C1 and D1, along with C2, D2, which is like the shittiest R2-D2 ripoff ever. But this means that there's plenty of new Pokemon in that once elusive E rank that Machamp was the proud leader of. And tragically, many of these Pokemon are higher placed in the rank than Machamp, including Machamp being ranked behind Raticate now, and look, I know it's the E rank, so this doesn't matter. I know there's plenty of other moves in the ranking, like Venusaur going from D1 to the middle of E rank, or Amistar not eating at all anymore. Amistar. Cut that last bit out. That are just way more insignificantly significant. But I do love the idea of Raticate rising up from its grasp, and making Machamp acknowledge him.
And I wanted to also publicly acknowledge the tribal chief.
Alright, 2 wrestling references down already. We are making great time here. Let's do a quick rundown on the fighting type as a whole in RBY.
That's my character. I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring.
And we're at 3, but yeah, the fighting type is pretty bad. There's 5 fully evolved fighting type Pokemon and 8 fighting type moves, and while that might sound pretty barren, remember this is Gen 1, so that is pretty decent diversity. A few problems though. Well, actually, a lot of problems. But a big one is that all but one of the fighting type Pokemons are mono fighting. The exception being Poliwrath, who has its own affairs going on in the never used ban list, along with its little brother, just like my wife and her affair with my brother. But anyway, between the remaining 4 mons, Machamp's stats are by far the best. The crown jewel being that sweet attack stat of 130. Tying us for the second most physically strong Pokemon in RBY, behind pseudo-legendary Dragonite, and matched by fellow Macho Bros Kingler and Rhydon. And Flareon. What the hell even is this game? But yeah, the other fighting types are just worse Machamps. None of them get Earthquake, so most are hard countered by Ghastly, let alone Gengar. Primeape has the best speed out of any of them, but not enough to warrant the drop in every single other stat. Meanwhile, the Hitmons are both cursed. They both have less speed than Primeape, less attack than Machamp, and Hitmonlee has less bulk than Machop. And Hitmonchan is not off the hook either, because its move pool does not match its typing or stats whatsoever, and they're just casually one of the worst fully evolved Pokemon of all time. Hitmonlee, on the other hand, has at least an interesting moveset, and by that, I mean half the available fighting type moves can only be learned by Hitmonlee. Shout out to Jolteon learning Double Kick, but this is pathetic. On the topic of things being pathetic, the other half of the fighting type moves are pretty eh. The only fighting type moves Machamp can utilize are Submission, Low Kick, Seismic Toss, and Counter. And on one side, we have moves that are actually pretty good, but don't get the stab modifier, so it's the same effect if we use them or Gengar. And on the other hand, you have moves that are affected by stab, and yeah, Submission is notoriously bad. It does let you break through Snorlax in 2 hits, and unless I'm wrong, it's the only move that can do that without crits, boosts, needing to recharge Hyper Beam, or exploding yourself. That's incredibly impressive, and it does do considerable damage against the other normal types. But let's be honest, it's not that good. 80% accuracy, only 80 base power before stab, meaning we don't hit quite as hard as we'd want to. And of course that recoil damage adding up, yeah, this is not good. Plus the Snorlax matchup is way worse for us, given how prevalent Reflexlax has become. Not to mention, your opponent is way more likely to swap into a Psychic type than leave the normals out versus you anyway. Huh. Sorry, where were we? Oh yeah, Submission bad. But Chad RBY users already know the superior move is Low Kick. 50 base power and annoyingly 90% accurate, it's still probably your best bet to break through the normal types and even Rhydon, but especially Chansey, as their awful physical bulk means low kick can still two-shot it. The most notable thing about low kick, though, is of course the 30% flinch chance. I know Machamp isn't technically a para flincher, Body Slam isn't consistent paralysis, but this makes Machamp arguably the best abuser of para flinching in the meta. Obviously the required setup beforehand isn't ideal, but the results can be especially effective. For sure there's other flinch moves in the meta, but are there really? With Stab, low kick is 75 damage, which means it beats out other options of Bite and Stomp, both of which aren't learned by any relevant Pokemon with Stab, other than Stomp Tauros, which is just insane. Please alert state authorities if that happens to you. We match damage with Base Headbutt, which can be used by Snorlax, but no it isn't, and it's really only seen on Meditate Hypno sets, so yeah, we get arguably the best and strongest flinch move, not counting Pokemon who shouldn't be counted. Low kick isn't a spam move though. If you're too happy to hit it, it's easy for your opponent to let something scarier in for just chip damage then. Of course, this is still base level thinking Machamp use, because all the cool kids nowadays are rocking counter Machamp. Yes, I saw the newest Reverend video, and I am just nuts enough to try it for myself. And let me tell y'all, the serotonin coming from this button is intense. Like camping. But it's a little complex, so let's talk about it real quick without a script. Be right back, y'all. Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back. First off, what do y'all think about my new room setup? I think it's pretty great, but let's get into it. Alright. This is going to be a really quick one this time. I've got 4 clips for us to watch, and then this should explain everything we need to know. So, in this first clip, Executor uses Explosion, Machamp comes out, Snorlax comes out, they swap to Starmie, we use Counter, and Starmie goes down. That's because Explosion was the last damaging move used on us, so that's what Counter uses in its damage calculation. And theoretically, if Snorlax didn't attack us that turn, like if we got paralyzed, it would also work. Or if it was like a sleep, it would also work, and it wouldn't need to switch. But the reason this works is that everyone swaps Starmie or Executor into Machamp as soon as Machamp comes out. In most situations, as long as it's not like they're already taken out or it's late game or anything, but this works mid-game very, very well. Alright, and in the next clip, we use Self-Destruct. Chansey goes down, Executor and Machamp come out, we get hit by Psychic, Counter doesn't work, and that's normal. That works every time, because we get hit by Psychic, we get hit by not a normal fighting type move, so Counter has nothing to counter, basically. In the third clip, the last move that Chansey used was Soft Boil. We use Self-Destruct, Machamp comes out, Alakazam comes out, and Counter doesn't work. And you might be thinking, why doesn't it work? Well, it's because Soft Boil isn't a damaging move. So even though it is a normal move, I think maybe, I might be wrong on that. I think it's a normal move. But anyway, it's on that list of moves where Counter won't work for it. So, even though we self-destructed, it didn't have any effect, basically, for Counter. I'm rambling, ha 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 ha. But this last clip is the fucking weird one. This is the one that you guys are gonna want to know about. So, in this one, Tauros uses Body Slam. We use Self-Destruct. It doesn't KO the Tauros. But Machamp comes out and they switch anyway, and then Counter works. So, to recap, when your opponent hits you with a normal fighting type move, and then you explode, the counter shenanigans will work. Or, if your opponent explodes on you, and they don't hit you in between you using counter and them coming out, it will also work. But if your opponent uses a not damaging normal physical type move, or not a normal fighting type move, sorry, in general, it's not gonna work, as we see in clip 3. So... But yeah, I'm basically rambling by this point, so I'm gonna switch on back and I'll catch y'all later. God, this was a train wreck. I want to get one thing really clear, really quick. This is straight cheese. And the more and more you do this, the more people are going to watch out for it, and as soon as you reveal counter, the opportunity is basically gone. So go have fun while you can is the moral of that story. My ex-wife certainly did. Alright, let's finish up with some team comps I've come up with. For our moveset, we're going to run low kick because it's the better stab option, body slam so we can punish switches, earthquake to fight off Haunter and to try against Gengar, and then it's really up to you whether you want hyper beam, submission, or counter. Each choice does have a few positives and plenty of negatives, but I'm just gonna use counter the whole time. Because I like countering self-destructs and explosions, but it can honestly be a really good choice for a lot of matchups. For teammates, the best team is shockingly, probably 5 of the top 6 Pokemon, and Machamp. Well no, the best team is not using Machamp, but this is probably the best team you can make. Paralysis support and great Pokemon are necessary for what we're trying to do here, so I'm not going to waste your time telling you why this team setup is okay. But if you want to keep 4 out of them, and choose a more interesting 6th mon, Lead, Alakazam, and Zapdos synergize insanely well in Paralysis chain teams, but relying on Sing Chansey as our only sleeper is a little sketchy, and Rhydon is a big problem, even if we swapped Zamo to Starmie. Running Lead, Jinx, and Starmie can fix that, and is probably the best way to start the game by sleeping an important target, but once they're gone or paralyzed, you have nothing left to protect your team from the opponent's Psychics or Electrics. Lead, Gengar, and Starmie seems like the best out of all of the above, and it gives us a move variety and very nice roll compression. Unfortunately, regardless of Mega Drengar being Mega based, our late game Zapdos can just destroy this team. Which leads into my personal favorite team, Lead, Jolteon, and Lapras. We still get a variety of strong stab special moves, but Lapras is our primary sleeper and Rhydon check, and is an excellent turn 1 switch for Lead Jolteon, as we outspeed other turn 2 sleepers like Chansey and Exeggutor, as well as being immune to freeze. Jolteon can counter Zapdos, and we still have Chansey as our backup sleeper in case of emergency. Try to ignore the fact that we're using Sing on Lapras and Chansey to get the job done as much as you can. Speaking of which, you can always dip Chansey out and try for an all-out attacking team to just chew through the opponent, but that's problematic, very problematic.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize.
But, yeah, I actually really like Machamp. Just like how you should like this video, but if you're still wondering why we're here today, trust me, I have 3 other videos I want to be working on right now. And I had to make up a whole new series just to justify even doing this. But I keep playing matches and I keep having fun. I love Machamp in RBYOU, and that's not a joke. He's such a weirdo. I absolutely adore it. Running him is not the most viable thing ever, but who cares? It's 2024. We're leaving hyper-competitiveness in the past and moving into the future, with hopefully at least a bit of a childlike wonder that we all had when we first fell in love with the series. You're allowed to enjoy whatever you want. Go live your life. Have a great 2024, everyone. This video is officially over, but those next 3 videos I mentioned are all on screen. Feel free to comment down below what you're most interested in seeing, and I'll use that to start my order of releases for this year. Thank you all for the insane amount of support last year. If I'm timing things right, this video is going to drop on my birthday, and we're getting very close to 500 subscribers, so that'd be an amazing present. So if you aren't subscribed, make sure to go do that now, and I'll catch y'all next time. Hey everyone, what's going on? Doing a little end of video after the end of video here. This is being recorded the day before I upload it, but real quick, no script. Thank you all so much for being patient and waiting for this to be uploaded. In the last week, I've had my basement full of water, my water heater is broken, my cell phone is broken, it's been a nightmare, but thank you all so much for being patient with me. I completely forgot that I even wanted to do this, but what you're watching right now is my top matches played with Machamp. I actually managed to get a ranking of 1400 using just Machamp teams, so that was pretty amazing, but I'll catch y'all next time.